and this is a competitive tableau building game where players are competing to defeat a final boss, and at the start of the game players are going to be choosing their champions that they want to play as, but they're also going to be choosing a final boss. And the game does use a board, and players will be putting a pawn out on the board that will represent their champion. And after that, the game plays over a series of rounds where players will be taking turns performing a series of actions, with the first one being the move action, where you can move up to 5 times on the board. And throughout the game there'll be resources put out on the board called essence, and if you pass through any essence you'll be able to pick that up. Wherever you decide to end your movement, you'll be able to take an encounter on that space, and the type of an encounter that you have depends on the space that you landed on. And these encounters could be different things like fighting a creature, resolving an event that has some sort of requirement that you're trying to fulfill, or resolving a room in a dungeon which has a sort of push your luck element, which works similar to the event, but if you are successful you can choose to continue into the next room of the dungeon, and if you're able to complete that without failure you can go into the third and final, and if you're able to do that you'll get a much larger reward, but if you fail at any point you'll lose it all. And then we move into the cleanup phase where you just roll a die, and each location has a value associated with it, and whichever value you roll on the die, that location is going to gain an essence. And combat in this game can happen in a couple of ways, either in one of those creature encounters, or if you pass through an opponent pawn. And whenever that happens, the attacking player is going to be the first to put out their effect and attack cards out on the board, so they're going to want to put out enough that they think they can defeat their opponent, but they might want to save some for later. And then the defending player is going to be able to play whatever cards they want, then you resolve all the cards, and players can deal damage simultaneously. You then resolve any effects depending on the cards that were played, and then this repeats until one player is completely out of energy, and then that player loses the battle. And whenever you die in this game, you're going to lose an item and then reset your pawn back to the starting location of the board. And once you feel ready, you can challenge the boss, and if you are the first player to defeat the boss, then you win the game.